Hi, it's Stan Phelps. I want to talk to you today about a concept that I call the blue goldfish and give you a not so brief history of technology, data, and analytics and answer the question, how did we get here? And we have to go back almost 100 years ago to see when the steam engine and electricity radically changed what's called the first machine age. And we're now at another inflection point, a time where business can leverage the advances in computer processing, artificial intelligence, and networked communication, what's called the second machine age. And we have to go all the way back to 1961, where it all started with these two guys right here. The silicon chip was invented by two American engineers, Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce. And it was Noyce, who was based in Palo Alto. He favored silicon for the semiconductor. He's the one that put the silicon into Silicon Valley. 1964, Roger Easton starts experimenting with a way to track the Russian satellite, Sputnik. It leads to the development of GPS. 1969, the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, ARPANET, launches the idea of an intergalactic computer network. It starts to take shape. 1970, Gordon Moore coins Moore's Law, stating that the computing processor speed and computer power will double every 2 years. It does so for the next 40 years. 1973, Xerox Alto personal computer is launched at Xerox PARC in the Bay Area, the first with a mouse-driven graphical user interface, or GUI. 1973, the first mobile call is made by Motorola's Martin Cooper. He calls a rival phone company and informs them he is speaking via mobile. 1975, Steve Sasson, a 24-year-old engineer, invents the process to make digital photographs. He worked at Kodak. Also in 75, the two Steves launch Apple I, a kit computer. It requires an additional keyboard and power supply. 1978, Dan Bricklin and Bob Frankston introduce VisiCalc, the first electronic spreadsheet. It turned the PC into a powerful business tool. 1982, the first thing, as in Internet of Things, connected to the internet was a Coke machine at Carnegie Mellon University. 1983, Motorola releases the first commercial phone that you could buy. It costs nearly $4,000. 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, who works for CERN, invents the World Wide Web. The first website at CERN was dedicated to the project itself. 1990, Quantum Computer Services introduces Promenade, an online internet service for the IBM PS1. It would eventually become AOL. 1991, Linus Torvalds, a student at the University of Helsinki, invents Linux, a completely free open source computer operating system. 1992, Neil Papworth, a 22-year-old test engineer, sends the first ever text message. It reads, "Merry Christmas." 1993, CERN puts an updated version of the World Wide Web into the public domain with an open license. The web begins to flourish. 1994, Bryant Gumbel, Katie Couric infamously stumble when seeing an email address. Gumbel asks, "What's this internet anyway?" 1994, same year, Jeff Bezos starts a company called Cadabra. 1 year later, he changes the name of the company to Amazon when a lawyer misheard the original name as Cadaver. 1995, Pierre Omidyar auctions off a single broken laser pointer on a site he developed. To his surprise, it sells for $14.83. The online auction site was soon renamed eBay, named after Omidyar's consulting company, Echo Bay Consulting. 1995 as well, Google begins as a research project by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who are both PhD students at Stanford University. 1999, Kevin Ashton coins the term Internet of Things, or IoT, while working at Auto ID Labs. 1999, Oracle executive Mark Benioff invites 3 friends to hear a business idea. It gets a lukewarm response at best. Dave Mollenhoff doesn't sugarcoat it. You're an idiot. This is never going to work. The group presses on and launches Salesforce. 2000, Confinity and X.com sync to name its product PayPal. 2000 as well, the US government stops intentionally degrading GPS signals, making them 10 times more accurate. 2001, Wikipedia becomes the online reference site of choice for internet users. 2002, Amazon Web Services launched, a suite of cloud-based services that include storage and computation. 2003, we reached the 500 million point. 500 million devices are now connected to the internet. 1 device for every 12 people on the planet. 2003, scientists announced that they have sequenced the entire human genome, 2 years ahead of schedule. 2004, 19-year-old Harvard sophomore Mark Zuckerberg starts thefacebook.com from his dorm room. 2005, YouTube is founded. The idea was born at a dinner party in San Francisco and was inspired by a tsunami and Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl. Thank you, Janet. 2006, Jack Dorsey sends the first message ever on Twitter. It read, "Just setting up my TWTTR." 2007, Waze is founded. The Israeli company develops a free mapping and turn-by-turn navigation app for iOS and Android devices. 2007, Tom Preston Werner creates a website that acts as a hub for coders to share their Git repositories. More than 12 million developers contribute to over 31 million projects by using this GitHub collaborative workflow. 2007, named after its founder, IBM Watson is born. 2008, the 1 billionth personal computer is sold. 2009, USAA, a bank and insurance company, becomes the first company to offer mobile check deposit. 2011, IBM's Watson appears on Jeopardy and wins. 2013, out of the world's 7 billion people, 6 billion have access to mobile phones. Only 4.5 billion have access to working toilets. 2014, Intel and its partners announced that they will begin production of an 800 gig per second optical network cables. 2015, Amazon surpasses Walmart as the most valuable retailer in the US by market cap. 2015, the average person unlocks their smartphone 110 times per day. And lastly, 2020, this year, there will be up to 50 billion devices that are connected to the internet. That's 7 devices for every 1 person on the planet.